The regular meeting of July 15th, 2025, now, please rise. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Vice Margaret.
Sorry?
Mrs. Hodge, you have to- You do it yourself.
I'm being respectful, but I'm not walking in.
There you go. Here, please call the roll.
Here. Castellini.
Here.
Francis.
Here.
Nicole.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
Megan.
Here.
Yes. He's on time.
Ryan, you there?
Yeah, I'm actually in my car. I'll be there in 5 minutes, but I'm here.
Sarwar.
Here.
Solo.
Here.
President Gator.
Here.
Four present.
And the introduction and a second to dispense with the reading of minutes, 6 and 17 meetings, placed on file. Introduction, Lola, second, Jennifer, yes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Similarly, I'd like to, if you receive it, okay, there. Motion and introduction, second to accept the communications. Introduction, second, on and. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye. That's in case you're wondering, it wasn't just make it agenda. Okay, we're gonna quick presentation from Jennifer. Wait, I forgot. And you can give us a resolution. Just want to tell us about it in the program.
There's what it means to have correction. There is a sample policy with some example language, but would you like me to present right now?
Yeah, sure. You know, you didn't really specify that, you know, generally such a proposal would involve you creating a resolution that we can support. But we can do that.
Communication.
Yeah. So for next month, you know, you could craft a resolution and send it to me and I'll vet it.
Okay, yeah, and we, just to clarify, our group, as well share is funded by New York State tax dollars, so we don't lobby or create policies, but we share samples and connect you with an organization that does that.
I see.
Thank you for having us tonight. Is this, I'm sorry, I saw on the agenda that it's down. Is this a good time
Yeah,
to share?
sure. Sure, this week, remember?
Yes. It's about 5 minutes, okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. Good evening, council members. My name is Jen Riley-Pluma, and I am the Community Engagement Coordinator of Tobacco Free Action Communities in Columbia and Greene. We are one of 21 statewide partnerships funded by the New York State Department of Health and Tobacco Control Program since the year 2000. And I wanted to start by thanking each of you for the work you've done alongside our program, including the City of Hudson's 2022 Tobacco-Free Parks Law under our late program director, Karen DePeister, who was a stalwart of tobacco-related community health issues. Our mission is making each community a healthier place to live, work, and play. We work with local businesses and municipalities to adopt voluntary tobacco-free employer parks and housing policies. Our partnerships in the past with the City of Hudson have extended into schools, working with youth programs like Pt.1 and supporting also outdoor recreational spaces free from litter and secondhand smoke. I shared a couple of documents with you tonight, and I just want to first state that our stake here tonight is pro-health. TFAC has consistently worked to raise awareness about the impact of tobacco marketing on youth initiation and the importance of smoke and vape-free spaces. And as a result, significant advances in our community have been made to support community health. So the reason I'm here tonight is to just briefly share key findings and speak on the disproportionately high number of licensed tobacco retailers in the city of Hudson, predominantly around youth-oriented spaces, the negative impact this has on community health, and the benefits of local regulation solutions, such as tobacco retailer licensing. I won't go through the report because you have the updated version in front of you, and I wanted to make a quick note about that. But there are currently 10 active tobacco retailers in the city of Hudson and 5 schools in the city of Hudson. At the time of our 2024 report, there were 6, and one is recently closed in June, which is Warren Street Academy. So I've updated the data to reflect the current amounts. But I want to briefly focus on why our report matters, focusing on tobacco density and proximity. And there's 2 main reasons: youth accessibility and equity. When more tobacco retailers are in a concentrated area, residents, health sufferers, and youth are more likely to initiate tobacco use. The latest vaping rate we have from the New York State Department of Health is 18.7% of all high schoolers in New York State. And in our report, the city of Hudson, in 2024, we found that the most popular product scores displayed, whether that's in advertisements or in sales displays, were disposable vapes, flavored little cigars, and flavored nicotine pouches, all of which attract youth, as you can see in our report. It's also been well documented that the tobacco industry clusters retailers in neighborhoods that are primarily low income and a high percentage of residents of color. These communities are targeted by tobacco companies and disproportionately, as a result, suffer the health harms caused by tobacco use. I just wanted to share with you tonight the benefits of local tobacco retailer licensing. New York State currently requires retailers to have a certificate of registration to legally operate in New York State. Local tobacco retailer licenses can expand and strengthen those state laws. There are limitations to New York State tobacco control laws, as we've seen with some of the loopholes with flavors and other issues coming into communities. And local communities not only have the authority to, but are also better equipped often to strengthen policies that prevent youth tobacco use and address health equity in our neighborhoods. And I wanted to mention 3 things that local licensing can do, which I've included a sample ordinance of. They can cap the number of retailers, for example, no more than 2 per district, which is something that the town of Bethlehem has done in the county of Albany. They can prohibit retailers from locating near schools or other youth-sensitive areas. For example, no stores could locate within 1,000 feet of a school or playground, which has happened in some of the communities and between counties we work in. And the third, a retail licensing law could require a minimum distance between retailers. In other words, a store cannot locate within 1,000 feet of another existing store. And we know that these types of policies work. The New York State Tobacco Control Program uses evidence-based policies. Statewide, we have seen these types of local laws and policies work because the initial rate of tobacco use for youth has gone down. And that's directly related to restrictions on tobacco marketing in the form of ads with public health law and things like increasing product prices as well. There's a study in 2023 by the National Bureau of Economic Research through the University of Illinois Chicago that evidence-based tobacco control policies like this are positive for business. The study found that things like declining cigarette use, ending tobacco sales in pharmacies, and some of the flavor restrictions in New York State have not adversely affected tobacco retailers. In fact, the number of tobacco stores and revenues in the United States have seen record increases. Finally, this is about equity for residents. So decades worth of research and passing these types of local laws in New York State has shown that addressing density in neighborhoods has the largest impact in low-income communities. These are communities that are already possibly dealing with addiction and maybe also addressing issues around behavioral health or financial issues. So the goal of these restrictions is to keep the tobacco business accountable in our communities rather than them having to say at our local level retail environments. So I have left you with a couple of successful local laws that we've worked on with the Village of Tannersville in 2017. Ulster County has also done a retailer proximity law, which includes zoning and some of the density issues that we mentioned, and again, the town of Bethany.
And now that I understand more better what you're looking for, I'm going to send this to the legal committee that you're looking for law rather than just a resolution. If you do want a resolution, all of what I said earlier, but these law possibilities should go for our legal committee. That'll be
Thank you so much for listening. And again,
Do you have a question? I have a question.
we are here to educate and provide the reasons.
So are you bringing the same law to the county level?
So we have been in discussion with the county level in Greene County, and it's been a few years since we've been in discussion with Columbia County, but a county level law would be an excellent way to go about this sort of, I think, local regulation.
And enforcement.
It can be, so great question. There's a number of ways these can be enforced, and I can send a packet on that, but they can, in some municipalities of the specialty hamlets that we see in New York State, you can have a patchwork of regulation, which can be health departments, sometimes police officers as well, but the local municipality itself, town government would be in charge of creating the license and requesting that license from tobacco retailer.
But doesn't the health department already review the cigarettes, make sure they're tagged and properly licensed, right? Don't they already do that?
So we do work closely with the TUPA department to, as I mentioned in this local observation in the city of Hudson, partner with them on our observations, and we share with them what we find in stores. And we report any violations, which there were none of the city of Hudson. As far as local enforcement with the Department of Health, they are responsible for enforcing the TUPA and certain things. But as I mentioned, the state laws are particular to some of those waiver examples I mentioned, but not necessarily how many retailers can have.
And if this law takes effect, say tomorrow, right, that I'm assuming existing stores are grandfathered.
Yes, we're not discussing here trying to close any businesses or get rid of any tobacco retailers, but say there's 2 businesses that close in the city of Hudson, and there's currently 10 active tobacco retailers, and you had 2 new vape shops come in and want to apply for a local license, they wouldn't be able to if they have set.
Gotcha.
It's just FYI, I think in the report that I looked at, some of the businesses you list are no longer in operation.
One of the businesses, 5 Star, that we had visited is still listed as a retailer on the New York State and taxation and finance, but they are closed.
And I think also some of the schools are not closed anymore. Other than that,
One of the schools out of the 6 we observed last in 2024 for our report, it closed actually in June last month, so I've updated for.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time.
I realized that we missed a dealing with committee reports. Can I have an introduction and second place committee reports on 5? 1 and Gary? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, now we can, you first gotta go to the bills. Okay. Okay. Oh, let me get an introduction a second first. Okay, Bill. Margaret, and
Is the draw for 10,000 for the sidewalks?
yes.
As of our technology.
That is the, short-term rental. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Leeson. Morris.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Solo.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Okay, we're gonna put the resolutions from last week. Stop me if you want to, press them further. The first one is the resolution appointing commissioners of the roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Felton.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Leeson.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Solo.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Here.
The next resolution authorizes the submission of an application for funding to the New York State Department of State Smart Growth Community Planning Grant for a comprehensive zoning regulations update project. It was established last week. It's a 10% city contribution, and the grant is going to 200,000. Any questions? Roll call vote.
I have some questions here. So, because we have something coming up later that, for a variety of reasons, we have a similar situation. I think before we vote approving to apply for a grant that requires that we have matching funds, that we need to know where those funds are going to come. And
They don't come
so
from
this
the general fund, as I always do in situations like
this is a $200,000.
I don't know.
You 10%.
10%.
Right, no, the grant itself, nowhere in here does it give
It's from the state, it says it right there.
it says 10%.
No. It says that the grant comes from the New York State Department of State.
But it doesn't say the dollar amount.
What?
The dollar amount
Where is the
So
dollar?
what?
for the grant.
So it could be $1 million.
Yeah.
It isn't, it's 200,000.
Yes, but it's not, that's not. in
Okay, let's put in.
We can amend.
Let's put in 200.
Where is it?
We'll put it in right now.
I thought we did that. I thought we,
I thought we were supposed to do
Last
that
week.
last time.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought the knowledge of it was enough, but I guess,
now,
no.
I forget a lot.
Excuse me?
I forget a lot.
Can't. You forget a lot, is that?
I forget.
So what we have to give is what, 20,000 now? I mean, if we get,
If we get it,
if it's 20 grand.
Not that it becomes a budget hoax.
Sorry?
Where you in the budget? Okay, let's, put in 200,000.
And we also need to say in here where the funds will come from. If the plan is that they're gonna come
What
from.
do you mean? They come from the general fund, as they always do.
Well, I think in a year where we have to take out 800,000, cover the budget and raise taxes, that we need to be explicit about any additional.
Well, if you did some historical research, discover that it's not at all unusual to take money out of the budget, when the general fund is sitting on too much money. I'm sure you know that. And if you don't, you should probably look into it more. Because taking 800 in no way threatened the general fund. And, I think, let's put in the 200. Where should we put it?
So
It could be,
Total project cost, the first signature for there's 6 whereas. Which, after the cost, which is anticipated.
And in the whereas of 10%, it should say not to exceed 20,000.
Okay, at 10%. And what is 10% and not to exceed. Okay, so I'll need a new introduction and second for this. Lola and Jennifer.
So now that we passed the technical part, maybe you, Tom, can explain to us the necessity of having?
Are wanting to do this?
Yeah.
Because we've been wanting to rewrite our zoning for 3 years.
Yeah, no, I
It's not
understand. I'm
something
just saying
that's-
it's important when we have something that there is a lot of commotion to explain, hey, why it's important to do this for this and this reason. That's all.
Well,
I think the issue is that like, you can probably speak to it, but, we haven't had the money to hire people to do the rezoning requirements.
Exactly,
A very
yeah.
comprehensive study. This is gonna give us 80% or 90% of the funds, up to 200,000.
Thank you. And of course, the comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
This is a crucial part of it.
so I mean, at some point, we have to figure out that, you know, you have to see something of what you get for your money. And right now, we're getting a product of 200,000 for 20,000. And this is what I'm saying is,
Well,
I understand it's an idea of the budget. We have the money where the money comes from, but you can't throw away opportunities either. And this is, it seems to me it's an opportunity.
Right.
That's about it.
exactly. It's grant that's being offered, and that's why we're going for it.
And they may not be available next year. It's new government out there. We may not have.
So, anybody else? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Paulson.
Aye.
Sassaludi.
Aye.
Moranci.
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris. Carnahan.
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Brony.
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President Pietro.
The next resolution is approving, is endorsing the New York State EDC Community Impact Grant being made by the Friends of Hudson Youth on behalf of the city of Hudson. Any questions? Okay, a roll call vote, please.
Tom, is this a time for public questions or the council first?
Okay,
Tom.
can we see who you are?
So, sorry, Tom, can you answer my question? Is this council questions or resident questions first?
Sorry, is it Hugo Van Born speaking?
No, it's your friend, the friendly neighborhood immigrant, also known as Vanity Gerswart van Vieren the Third.
Okay, Hugo Van Born, yes. Go ahead, speak.
Tom, did you guys budget funds for this in this current budget year?
No.
Did you budget funds for this in 2023 budget year? Did you budget for this in 2022?
This DEC Environmental Justice Grant is for water quality at Oakdale Lake. It's a $100,000 grant with no match. And Friends of Hudson Youth receives the grant and manages the grant. And there's no impact whatsoever on the city budget.
Thank you, Peter. There's your answer. Okay.
No, Tom, it's actually not answered. And Tom, if you want to be snippy, you can like adjourn the meeting for 5 minutes if you want to take a breath.
Understand what you're saying. Can you speak a little louder, please?
Where will the money come from to match
There
the grant?
is
There's no
there
match.
is no match.
There's no match.
It's
We have free money.
To listen to the facts. There is no match.
Okay, Tom, don't be snippy, please.
Please don't tell me how to behave either.
You don't have to be rude.
Let's move on.
There are children watching.
Yeah.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Sassaludi.
Aye.
Moranci.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris.
Aye.
Carnahan.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Brony.
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
There.
I just wanted to make a small comment.
Sure,
So
please.
while I was driving in and I was on the phone, it is very difficult to make out word for word what's being said in this chambers. So I think there is a communication gap. Hugo, it's not necessarily being snippy. I think some words were just being lost when.
Yeah,
That's a-
maybe it's better.
That's a great clarification, and sorry, Vicky, go ahead.
You're not being recognized. Please don't comment.
Well, no, Tom, the issue is not like the comment I made was more with you and how you spoke to Margaret and how you speak to women in general.
Okay,
Like
the next
you
resolution.
cut women off more than men. You make sexist comments. I can show it to you
Can you,
mathematically.
Please silence him. The next resolution authorizes the city of Hudson to accept the grant award on December 16, 2022 from the Environmental Protection Grant Fund for parks to redo the Oakdale playground.
I have some comments.
Okay, make the comment, please.
So, this is the grant where we have the 25% match, correct? Right, okay. So my comment on this one is that it's kind of like why I was asking the question about, the one with the.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, it was related to the question I was raising about smart growth. This is a grant that we have voted on before. I believe that the first time was 2022, correct?
Mhm.
And I believe there was another vote on it last year, and the resolution has now been amended to fix some language and so on. But back in 2022, when we approved this, we were in a different financial position than we are in today. So this is now something that is carrying with it, is it $110,000 commitment from the city? In 2022, that was fine, but no funds were set aside at that time. It then languished for a time. Now it is back, and we have committed to it in the past. But I think when we do things like this, that, and at the time that we're saying, yes, we can do this, we want to move forward with it. But that needs to be built into the BEA process so that we have earmarked money that's going to be set aside and used. And while I think we do need to go ahead and honor this, I would like to see from the BEA within the next couple of weeks, that'll be you, Tom, Heather, and the mayor. I would like you to explain to the council where this $110,000 is going to come from in the current 2025 budget, because you can't just keep saying, we'll take it out of the general fund. We have a very tight budget right now. And I'd like to know where the money's going to come.
And can you explain how this budget is different from previous budgets that you just said? Can you back up that statement?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what are you asking?
You're claiming that our budget situation is.
Well, our situation is quite different.
Explain.
First of all, we have to raise taxes. We have to take 800,000 out of the fund balance to balance the budget. But you asked me to explain, I am explaining. The current federal situation, with federal government pulling funds back from states and from municipalities, exposes us to a fair amount of risk. So the environment that we're in today in 2025 is not the environment that we were in 2022. That's just a fact every municipality knows. And I'm just saying, I would like to know where we're going to find the 110,000 in our current situation to fund this, which I believe we have to do. We have already voted on it twice, and we should honor it. There's nothing, the project itself is terrific. So that's just what I'm saying. I would like to get information on where it's going to come from. Whether we're going to cut some things, whether we're expecting higher revenue than we have budgeted for, where is it coming? That's it. That's my comment.
Thank you. Yes, Dominic?
I think since, it's best practice, I think when things like this come ahead, especially 3 years, if it's in the pipeline, that we somehow chip away at what our expectation is going to be and put that away somewhere. I think that maybe, next year, with the Oakdale plunge, that maybe we can tap into that and talk to the fire company, say one time, can we get a bigger chunk of that money for this project? And I think there might be some other, we can't seek donations, but I think there might be some others out there. I mean, 110, if we can chip away at that, even if we go to $50,000, that's a big help. And that shows community commitment to the project. The project is a great project. It's something we need for, the community, the kids, and the ADA. But I do think that on the other side of it, we don't want to get to the point where we're scraping something that we didn't have to scrape. And I think that if we can guarantee some kind of forward thinking on projects like this, so we can be breathing easy today rather than quibbling over the money, right? It would have been a nice conversation, said, you know, we put $80,000 away in the last 5 something years, and we're only gonna be asking for that. That to me is financial responsibility and financial prudency. So I'm hoping that moving forward, that like Mark said, that we could ease taxpayers and everything, and we can come up with a 110 that's not gonna affect our taxpayers and not gonna affect, you know, our community in financial.
Thank you, Dominic. Okay, we'll talk about,
We had talked about the finance committee having a grants administrator, someone to actually help manage all these grants. I think this would be perfect situation. Not only like when we pass the resolution that says we're going responsible for some matching grant, but someone just to keep track of all the grants that we have pledged to, as well as keeping track of making sure that we fill out all the forms and follow all the paperwork so we get all the reimbursements from all the grants that are to. Right now, that responsibility just falls kind of on the treasurer's office, so it's all over the place. You don't have one simple person who is responsible.
So the company we have for grants is LaBert's, but this grant was from, I think you probably found it, right?
Yeah,
Who
but
came
they're
up?
founded in
Who is it?
Bears.
LaBert's. So maybe LaBert's, they can do an in-home organization for us. You know, I mean, since they can organize us. LaBert's is the company that does most of our grants, and I'm saying that they probably very easily can, I'm sure there's some program, they can punch everything in and tell us, give that to us once a year. We may not even need to hire it, you know.
Yeah, we have staff turnover, for instance, and then all of a sudden we're struggling to make sure that all these grants are reimbursed.
So who is in contact with LaBert's? Can I talk to them? I remember it was part of the committee when I hired.
I see, 10 years.
Yeah, I'll talk to them.
Vicky could be our.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
I'm sorry, Tom, I'd like to be,
Is there a question?
what is the time allocation for public comment?
I'm sorry, what?
How much time do residents and taxpayers have to make a limited comment?
I'll give you a minute.
Is there no rule about this?
No, there's no set rule.
Got it, from the Creative Council.
That's right. You have a problem with that?
Yeah, I don't think it's efficient. So guys, obviously the Oakdale Park is a really good project. It means a lot to so many people. And Peter Frank has been a hero to get it funded and get matching funds. There is a bigger problem, which is the city's budget is $20 million, and we keep on adding more and more and more. And it is driving away from the community because it has to make these trade-offs, which groups work and which groups do not work. The way that this went down, and someone giving me on the Zoom camera, has given ground for Article 78 challenge on various issues. And I'm concerned that the city is going to grow legal costs through Tom's actions and from all planning board's action. And this will further financially harm the city. So I urge you, and if you don't, that's okay, I expect you to push it back by a month, to find funds that is allocated within the budget, so that you don't have to cut other things or push it into next year's budget, and if Tom and Kamal and Heather put together, make the trade-offs of allocating it. I think that's wise, I think it is reasonable, and if you not do that, you force citizen hands to bring administrative legal actions, which are time-consuming and costly, and would delay the Oakdale project further jeopardize that issue because of the action of Tom. So please go to vote. I know your hands outside. I know in Tom's council always question things last minute, but I don't think this is a good way to run the city, and it's why we have a city charter movement input and why the election's happening.
Okay, your time's up. Thank you. Roll call. Donna?
Yes. Peter, I appreciate everything, and since it's been 2022, it's important that this goes through smoothly. Is there a way that a month could give us some time to see if we can trickle down on this 110? I think it's also going to help on the other side of it that we're serious about it and that we want to raise some money. Is there a way to do it if we do it next month? Is it going to hurt anything? I mean, it's been 2 years already. Is
Since
if we can
the
get
endeavor to reactivate the grant, we've had to do a lot of work with the Parks Department I think it is important to show good faith with the city, that we follow through, that we show that the city is going to honor its commitment. State Parks is expecting the council to act on this so that we can move forward with the grant. One way or another, I feel the council should honor its former commitments. And this doesn't stop the council from searching for alternative ways to leave money. I'm going to be part of those conversations. I don't see how the council can say no to this, and I think delaying it and looking for other sources of money for money that's already been committed with municipal funds is a very bad precedent to set.
I have a question. Heather, are you on the call? Are you here?
I am.
Okay. Do you remember, all these projects we're doing, like, for example, the Ferris Bridge, we're supposed to be get reimbursed. So we're supposed to be having some incoming. So where is that? Is it going to be some before the end of the year? Because Ferris finished.
Yeah, no, it comes in, it depends on the grant, frankly, and the grant, the state or federal side grant administration and how effective they are. Best case scenario, Rob Perry submitted 2025 money in March and we got it in July. Worst case scenario, as we discussed before, it took us almost 2 years to get one of the DRI reimbursements. So it's not a predictable thing. And, that's one of the challenges because there are so many different departments and entities involved in so many different grants, submitting so many different requests for disbursements that, obviously my office's job is to make sure that we know what's been requested and that when it comes in, we see it and we put it to the right place. And that we, if we let people know that if they're expecting disbursement and it hasn't shown up, but we can only do that if people let us know that they've been submitting those.
So how much is expected? From what you know, how much is expected? Come back.
I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, it's literally millions of dollars because the DRI, the majority of the streetscapes thing is outstanding. That's, $2 or $3 million right there. The Ferry Street Bridge is another $3 or $4 or $5 million. It's millions of dollars. That's a close estimate I can give you off the top of my head.
But Heather, when that money comes in, we have to take out loans, short-term loans to cover that.
I know some of those, of course, but some did come from general fund, didn't it?
Yeah, basically, as I think Tom mentioned before, anytime that you as the council approve a grant with a match, you are by default assuming that that's going to come out of the general fund, unless it's a water sewer, or this has never happened in my lifetime, or cemetery project, in which case those funds would come out of those funds, water, sewer, and cemetery. So a lot of the ones you see from Rob Perry for CSO, which is combined sewer overflow, Washington, Maine, pump stations, I'm just mentioning some of the capital projects we've done in the last 5 years or so. All of the match for those, or anything that's, between the grant funds and the project funds, comes out of the water and the sewer funds. But things like the DRI and pretty much I'm not sure what's all on the docket tonight, but certainly the ones that we've talked about so far, those would all come out of the general fund and they would have to come out of fund balance.
So Hugo, you're part, finance. I've studied business. So you must know that the balance in the general fund is a very fluid thing. What I have today, it's going to be different in a few months. And this is what I'm trying to say, that in a few months, we may have a totally positive balance, a lot higher. So let's just, so let's just be cognizant of that. And I'm just saying, we cannot throw away, it's bad business. From a business point of view, you don't throw away, the grant is given to you for nothing, which was a previous one, just because, there was no point there. But this one, because of the 110. So that's what I said.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the finance, that, you cannot determine what the general fund is at any given moment.
You cannot determine that, but also you cannot strip the entire region of Hudson, the only city in this area, not to have a playground and to have to go to Greenport. And they say, oh, my kid, I don't have kids, I'm a senior. Yeah, well, you know what? Your asset, which is your home, worth more if you have some facilities around, if you have a hospital, if you have nice roads, if you have sidewalks, if you have a nice park, if you have a nice waterfront. So you can't just say, oh, my sidewalk is good, I don't need to pay, I don't need anything. It's just an isolated way of thinking that's not going to go anywhere and is against growth, against business, period.
Maybe this was one through four. One, I'm sadly not an expert in this for finance. I actually think it's more complex than private finance. Number one. Number two is you're absolutely right that the balance can go up and down. You're absolutely right. The simple point that I'm making is that we should balance budgets and not retroactively discover grants that were unfunded.
Organization, yeah, we're lucky. I definitely, you all agree on this. We need, yes.
Okay, let's move on.
But if the park is sued next week and they get injunctive relief orders to halt the disbursement of the funds, that'll be worse than Peter calling them tomorrow and saying, hey, I'm so sorry, Solomon, Heather, and Kamal didn't allocate this money across 3 years, so you give me another month.
So you're gonna tell me that you're gonna tell your son, hey, you cannot go in this city to go play, and you're gonna have to go to Greenport because I stood up for this $110,000.
I know, but the thing is,
I'm sorry.
Vicky, at the same time, we're essentially being held at, we're being threatened with a
Yeah.
lawsuit, which is gonna cost the city money because we don't want to spend $110,000. I don't think we have to entertain this comment ongoing every time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dominic?
I think this is more of a wake-up call for us, just pay attention, right? Well, that's time, it's 5 pennies, right?
We all agree, but we all agree that organization.
No, I'm saying that because especially it's big and adds ward, right? To pay more attention and to make sure the $110 is covered, $110,000 is covered, right? So we have to do a little bit more work to make that happen rather than, wait on it.
I'm thinking over, I'm gonna talk to the birds, I'm telling you, I'm gonna come up with something and we're gonna have a nice plan, a spreadsheet, so we can all see it. That's about it.
I said you.
Let's go find the money.
Thank you. So, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Aye.
Liaison.
Aye.
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 Ryan.
Aye.
Aye.
Paula. Mr. Pedro.
The next resolution is finding membership in the Pavement Network. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Castelli. Aye. Ramsey.
Does that mean I'm gonna get more mailings to my house? ARP.
Once you hit the threshold, you just keep getting the same name.
It's
a roach motel.
Morris.
Aye.
Bernier.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Okay. The next resolution is really just a redo of the seeker determination for the Oakdale Park improvement project. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Castelli. Aye. Ramsey.
Aye.
Liaison.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Bernier.
Aye.
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 Carl.
Aye.
Paula. Mr. Pedro. Carried.
The next resolution is city, Common Council declaring its intent to serve as lead agency in relation to the City of Hudson Comprehensive Plan. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Castelli. Aye. Ramsey.
Aye.
Liaison.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Coordinator.
Aye.
Me.
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Paula. President Pietro. Derek.
Next resolution supports HHA's application to Pro Housing Program.
I have a question.
Okay,
So we have two on the agenda tonight. This one is number 8 for HHA, and then number 13 is application for a same grant for J11. I think there's a situation where it's not like the scenario where we have to choose one. Back when, you remember, we had the debts and the housing authority. We don't have to choose one, but I think the likelihood of getting both is slim. And I think it would behoove us to support one, or to push for one rather than both.
well, and also, sorry.
Yes.
In answer to that, I checked and, it isn't slim. It all depends on how many applicants there are. And it's not uncommon for one municipality to get two at one round. And both of the applicants know it's at risk, so there's no reason not to support them both and see what happens. Doesn't diminish our application. It doesn't enhance or diminish the applications to pick one over the other.
Doesn't just go by the strength of the application of.
That way to do it, correct?
Right. Let them make the decision.
So how many municipalities have gotten multiple grants? You said it's not uncommon.
I asked, well, you'd have to call up, HRC.
HCR.
Information.
Housing community.
HCR. So let's have the roll call.
Right.
Escalade.
Aye.
Ramsey.
Aye.
Lisa. Morris.
Aye.
Coordinator.
Aye. Aye.
Paula.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Okay, we know these are the three resolutions concerning the Article 7 proceedings. Number 9. And I'm still in the administrative yes.
Councilmember Belt. Escalade. Ramsey. Lisa. Morris. Coordinator.
Aye.
President Pietro.
The next one is Esposito.
Councilmember Belt. Escalade. Ramsey.
Aye.
Lisa. Morris.
I'd like to ask Crystal a question on this one.
Sure.
Crystal, I'm a little confused because there's this one, references, the Waterman House as petitioner, as does the next one, but they're different properties, right?
Yes, they are different properties.
Okay, but it's just that the Waterman House is the petitioner in both cases, is that correct?
That should be the correct. There should be a different tax parcel number for both resolutions.
Yes, there is. Okay, thank you.
Maybe.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Paula. President Pietro. Derek.
Next resolution for with Waterman House. Roll call votes.
Councilmember Belt. Escalade. Ramsey.
Aye.
Lisa. Morris. Coordinator.
Aye.
Roberts. Tony.
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Paula. President Pietro. Derek.
Next resolution, donations on behalf of us fire. Roll call vote, please.
We skip one.
You can leave it. Hold on. No, including, yeah. Thanks. I got Brown donations. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Felton. Aye. Sassaludi. Aye. Moranti. Giza. Marks. Finnegan.
Aye.
Aye.
Lola. Pietro.
Okay, the next resolution authorizes the mayor to, I'm sorry.
Yeah, JLE is good.
Is to execute a grant application for New York State Code Housing Supply Fund should approve John Allen Edwards School project. Roll call, Judy.
Councilmember Felton. Aye. Sassaludi. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Giza. Aye. Morris. Aye. Finnegan.
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Browning.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Lola. Within Pietro.
And the last week's resolutions is authorization of mayor to execute to enter a license agreement with CLC with Rob Williams Partner. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Felton. Aye. Sassaludi. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Giza. Morris. Aye. Finnegan.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Lola. Within Pietro. Carried.
Okay, before you move on, I just want to make one comment. Sorry, Mr. Gordon Levitt, but you should all know, members of the council and the public, that he has issued endless oil requests to our city, causing our clerk to spend hours and hours filling his requests. That costs the city a lot of money. Just want to address it.
Doesn't that transfer on to him paying it though?
No, it could not. Only he has to pay it.
If it's a
Current copy. Not paid for it. Okay, let's move to the new resolutions. First resolution, and I think I'm going to make sure. Yes, I think we incorporated, it does incorporate Margaret's suggestion. And it's a resolution funding the creation of the city clerk consultant. Can I have an introduction and a second, please? Margaret, and go on.
So this is until, well, I just want to fill in and say it's until the end of the year. And it's more, it's more, yes, it's more to train for new topics to learn and things. It's a prudent way of not making mistakes.
Yeah.
And that line you do that. To the
What I
rest.
just
So
said.
Not that she makes
That
mistakes.
last week we talked about this and the language was revised to indicate.
Oh,
it wasn't
yeah,
that.
that,
Sorry, it was revised.
Make it more specific.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Felton.
Aye.
Sassaludi.
Aye.
Moranti.
I think Tracy just misses us.
Giza. Morris. Finnegan.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Lola.
Aye.
President Pietro. Carried.
Okay, the next resolution, very controversial, on accepting donations on behalf of the New York. Introduction and second, please. Jennifer and Ron. Roll call vote, please, if there's no questions.
Councilmember Felton. Aye. Sassaludi.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Giza. Morris. Finnegan.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Starr. Lola. President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Just a question, something, this did not go through the, Friends of Hudson Youth, the seat direct from HTC to City of Hudson.
I think, yeah,
Yes,
that's youth is no longer the sponsoring the fund. HBC is So HEC gives a check to the fire department, a check to Urban 10, and a check to.
Next resolution is in support of, National Night on Hudson. Introduction, remember, Sean.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jennifer, one and Luana. Roll call.
Councilmember Bell.
Aye.
Descalini.
Aye.
Moritz.
Aye.
Lisa. Morris.
Aye.
Copenhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Brownie.
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Rolo.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes the mayor to apply for the community development block grant program. This is, the main thing is here, we want to put in a public hearing, and I am suggesting that we do it the night of our informal meeting before the meeting.
Can you explain what this is?
Yeah.
Oh, first let me get an introduction in a second. Do we get that? Ronnie, and then? Wow. This is just a general, this is proposed from the merge. And it's a way of, the first stage in going for a community block grant
Oh,
development.
wait, isn't this the one where we repair the buildings?
What?
Isn't this the one that Sal told me to be part of that committee where we repair the buildings?
No, we already got
No,
that.
It's not that one, no. So which one is this?
Justin, are you on to further explain it? See that?
The home care grant?
No,
No.
I got it. Crystal, do you know, by any chance? It came in
I don't
late.
have all of the information for this one in front of me, no.
Yeah,
We can pay for the somebody who actually
Yeah.
understands.
came in today.
Yeah, we don't have enough.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Well, I think it might be.
Yes.
Repairable.
Yeah, I think it is the home care.
The language just speaks to like
Sorry,
expanding,
say again, Tommy?
just the way it's written, I think it is for the home report, but I'm not sure, so I'm okay, yeah, I'm okay with tabling it.
And if we're having a public hearing to find out what.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
We ought to at least know what it is first.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's for that, but we can wait.
Well, we don't-
Yeah, we can wait until the second hearing.
And it's federal.
Yeah.
It's, I think last time we got 500,000 and we're getting the same, and we're gonna just repair a few.
We'll put that up to the next. I mean, hearing after the presentation.
You need a motion to table?
Yeah. Right?
Oh, yeah, we have them do it in a second. I have a motion to table. Second. On the one, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next resolution, authorize budget amendment for phase one implementation of the parking kiosks. Introduction, Devon and Jennifer. Questions? Okay, let's vote.
Councilmember Bell. Descalini.
Aye.
Ramsey.
Aye.
Lisa. Morris. Copenhagen.
Aye.
Brownie.
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Rolo.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Excuse me, can I say something? We have put the solar speed radar in, we put a solar speed radar and it's not always working, depends on if it's cloud or sunny.
Yeah.
Will this affect solar ones?
We're going to have an extra battery or two to maybe a trickle. I don't know what it's called. It's trickle.
It'll be charged in-house and then we can
Yeah,
switch
and
out.
you can switch it out. So if
if it's not charging by the time we can.
Okay, and who's gonna do this, the parking? You're, thanks.
So the next resolution that's been here before, from Big Cow. For the introduction in a second. Gary and Laura. Questions?
Did they answer your questions that I had?
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, the water is free.
Yeah, okay. Not just the water, it was the electric, making sure
Yeah,
that.
that's included.
No, you're not listening. Making sure the electric is gonna handle a heating pad or a heating sources. In terms of fuse blowing and things like that. So that was my question is the outlets going to handle the heating components that they're using? That would take some kind of, yes.
They did it last year.
No, they didn't have them last year.
No, this is the first day they're putting the heating pad.
They didn't have them last year. And
Yeah, this is the first time they're.
right.
Okay.
And then the other one was going to be about bathrooms.
Okay, then I guess we'll, once again, have to say there's no rush.
Can I speak real quick to answer one of Dominic's questions? So I didn't have the electrical, the heating components noted, but I did have the bathrooms. I talked to them about that. They use the same bathrooms as Oakdale Park. So whatever bathrooms, facilities are available there, I think there's porta potties that are available through Oakdale Park. They are made available to the individuals attending Big Towel.
Yeah, but those bathrooms go away after camp. So
They're out there and they do not have separate bathrooms. She was very specific to say that those porta potties that are used there, they stay while they're using them, for their facilities.
So they're there for them. So we're
They
going
are,
to be paying
yes.
bodies for their visits.
So why are they not paying?
Peter is familiar with it.
The youth department has had it in their budget for several years to have one year-round porta potty at Oakdale Lake for the public. And Big Towels used it, but other people from the public can use that porta potty. There's 3 seasonal porta potties that only come in for camp and go away. Okay, and there's one year-round, and that's been in the youth department's budget for a number of years.
It's a year-round ADA compliant.
It is.
And then who locks it in security?
I would imagine there's a Big Towel has a key and has a key. I don't want to give you a lot of information, so I'm not trying to answer that question.
I'm just who's responsible for opening up and closing them up and, and what time do they open?
I'm not sure, but it would be the same way it was done last year. It seemed to work. Okay, so.
Well, I didn't know what was going on last year.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we can approve this tonight.
Well, not without the electric.
What?
Not without the electric. The question about the electric and being able to handle the heating.
Outlet.
I think of the electric, so, okay, the way it's, the language here, it says it's 200 those electric users with agreement. And if it exceeds the 200, then to be charged by the licensee. But then I think we need to add if there are any repairs, any damages, it's the licensee's responsibility. Usually the landlord has to pay, but if there is during their time, if they break an outlet, I think it should be
I'm
there.
concerned about fire.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, that's the thing, because.
Because, I hate to assume that outlet has never had, a heating, for X amount of time. And I say that because I was just camping at my camper 3 times and I thought it was gonna be okay, right? And so I think that we need to at least get confidence in something about whatever outlet they're using for the heating portals. Heating takes a different amount of electric.
The breaker you're talking about, right, Dominic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pads. And
This is all about the hitting the pads.
because of the.
Well, maybe we don't, I know they would like to have the pads, but since it's not gonna be supervised during the night, it's also, it can be a hazard. You don't know what can happen. If there is a fire, then you won't catch it. So maybe we can just say.
Yeah, but it could be as simple as,
Yeah,
coming in and looking at it, saying, yeah, they're good. We checked the fuses. We just need somebody to sign up that these outlets are gonna be used, is gonna work for their product they're having, because we don't know. You know, I mean,
I can still give them the opportunity to come back and tell us like, it's only a 1,500 watt, heating pad and a regular
Well,
outlet.
to eliminate risk, you don't want to have anything plugged in overnight.
Sure.
The truth
Oh,
is, if you want to be safe and not have a fire issue, ideally, you just
Are they saying they're gonna
don't
leave it
have.
on all?
I think they had to be in order to not, the idea is not to shovel the snow. on
Yeah,
their map.
okay,
So I'm just saying, we're going back and forth on this at some
Well,
point.
this is specifically to melt snow.
That melts
Okay, so
snow.
that's usually not even a high wattage thing, because I believe that's,
I don't know anything about.
that only like heats it to like, let's say 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which doesn't. But yeah, we could,
Let's look into it.
let's look into it, yeah.
There would be a real change.
We got time, so it's not like.
Yeah. And I have a motion to table this.
Probably similar to like.
Richard and Jennifer. All those in favor?
That's what we did with that nation.
Aye.
Next resolution that Chief knows about is moving an agreement with County Report regarding port security. Okay, do I have an introduction in a second?
Councilmember Bell, Dr. Louis,
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Lisa. Morris,
Correct.
Fernhagen,
Aye.
Sarver.
Aye.
Bola.
Aye.
President Dufresne.
Aye.
Carried.
Next resolution authorizes transfer to HPD from IBAN. Well, as introduction second, please. Ron and Jennifer, questions? Ron, you would, I give a question.
I'm guessing some of the questions that I would ask were covered in the formal.
Oh.
Yeah, but I guess I'm a little uncomfortable with the proposal just because it's essentially government property that is being earmarked to be sold to government employees, but not necessarily open to the public, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
No, these are buybacks so they can get the new guns. It goes to the company, that are buying the new, that are getting.
Oh, is that companies getting it? I thought it said that officers are buying them back. Maybe I misunderstood.
I understood it the way you probably did.
Usually what happens is they get credit for the guns to be bought back into their.
Maybe it's then they got the new wording.
Heather just raised her.
It says, whereas some members of the city of Hudson Police Department wish to purchase the duty weapon. That's the part that I have some issue with. Yeah.
Someone say Heather registered.
Heather.
Heather?
That's exactly.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah, so basically, the plan was that the HPD would trade in all of their existing weapons as a credit to purchase the new ones with the better sight. The way that it works, as far as I understand it, is they get sold to a licensed federal arms dealer type of thing. That sounds like a, weaponry thing, but it's not really. Some of the officers wish to purchase their equipment directly, which would save them significant money versus the city selling it at the discounted price to the, interim dealer, and the interim dealer then turning around and selling it back to the officers. So the officers offered to pay the same amount as the dealer was going to pay for the trade-ins so they could make that purchase directly, thus saving them money and not costing the city any money. This was run by Andy Howard, the attorney, and he seemed to think that that was fine. So they identified the number of officers that wanted to purchase their handguns. Those officers all provided the purchase funds. So that money now has to go back into the police equipment budget because it needs to go for the offset of the purchase of the new equipment. So it's basically a break even for the city The police officers got to purchase, the ones that wanted to purchase their guns got to do that. And that's it.
This is a common practice, because some retire with a weapon.
Yeah, it's like
You
a
know,
bond.
yeah, it's a common practice.
Sorry, Dominic, can you say that again?
Common practice.
It's a common practice, because, some have sentimental value to their.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
understand
first
that.
Sorry,
officer that,
I agree. Some have what?
sentimental values to
Oh,
them.
thank
Yeah,
Right,
because
Can you retire with them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if Dewan wanted to buy one? We don't have the
Yeah.
opportunity. But I understand what you're saying, Dominic, that people have.
I think you have to go talk to the.
Then I'm gonna have to pay the inflated price.
Yeah.
The sentimental value price.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Dalton. Aye. Jaskowitz. Aye. Moranci.
Aye.
Lezak. Aye. Morris.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Rowley.
I'm going to abstain.
Farrar.
Aye.
Cola.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
I want to table the next one because I haven't. Actually, this laptop, if you're familiar with it, are you ready?
Yes.
I was gonna
It's
ask questions too.
exclusively for HPC. If she also uses it for HPC, they should probably be paying her.
Yeah,
So I wrote to her and she's not responding, so.
at the same time, 1,400 seems pretty expensive for a laptop, only for Zoom meetings or team meetings.
Right. So until I get some.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which is.
oh, we don't have.
You don't have to have it.
No, that's really on the side.
You can put that aside. The last resolution came in late, due to a mistake, I'm sorry, but it's really just in support, and I can't believe that none of us didn't support this. Let's get an introduction in a second first, and it's a resolution in support of the Columbia County Wellness Hub that you know is being worked on by a number of entities. Luan, who's the second? Whoa. Any questions? No commitment, just to, get us behind it. Okay, we'll call vote.
Councilmember Dalton.
Aye.
Jaskowitz. Aye. Moranci.
Aye.
Lezak.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Aye.
Farrar.
Aye.
Cola. President Pietro.
Aye. Okay, I guess one actually, and it's, secondary dwelling unit. We might go to, I don't know if I could put that, we can find that, but. Local law, introduction A, related to accessory dwelling units. Can we, Crystal, we can vote on this.
Are you the accessory dwelling unit, has there been a council resolution or council public hearing on this?
She knows, so I guess we can.
Because I do, yeah, I went back through the calendar, I didn't see that. That is the last step that's needed for this.
Okay, so we need a hearing.
Could we combine it with the?
We could, yeah. So we'll schedule that hearing.
Next Monday?
Next month.
The other, flood damage one, is that also going to need a public hearing?
Flood review.
I think all,
Yeah,
I think all, yeah.
Crystal?
I didn't hear what you were asking. What needs a public hearing?
Switching the flood, related to the flood damage prevention law.
No, that's the mayor public hearing. So that does not require a council public hearing.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay,
I just said.
just kidding. Okay, so mayor, so.
Technically not.
And we haven't heard back from the planning board on the third one. That can't be.
We're still in the 30-day period.
Correct. So that's pretty much it for tonight. Anybody have anything else they'd like to raise?
I
Tom,
Go ahead, Crystal. Is that Crystal?
we had talked about potentially having an executive session to discuss the contract negotiation.
Yeah, why don't we,
Before we do that, can I just break, because we're going to go into executive session?
Go ahead.
And public can leave. So this is something we discussed during finance, but we had our first year of the Hudson Mile this year, which was great, but there was a lot of concerns from the, and Chief Franklin briefed us on how the financing for police etc. worked, but the timing of it on a Saturday evening, which ran past 6 o'clock, shutting down all of Warren Street, resulted in significant loss of business to the restaurants on Warren Street. And I think it would be a good idea for us to have maybe a meeting or regroup with the organizer of that and think about in the future, maybe having it in the morning rather than right at dinner time on a Saturday, which is like, that's where the restaurants need to have customers. And I think, Rich, you had indicated that perhaps having mass gatherings and stuff coming before the council, not just have it handled through the mayor's office, might also be good practice. So I just want to put that
okay,
there.
two things. One, I think the follow-up to it should be happened by the finance, because they did the events. They financed it.
So we only got an application, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, we didn't find it? We didn't give it money?
They did not apply until a couple of weeks ago, and so we had to give them, we had some money left and we gave it. But they did not apply in the spring.
Okay, but they did get money.
No, not yet.
In the future, they should.
Yeah, they should apply in time.
Secondly, we can't put every mass gathering in front of the council. It'll take forever. It's just, there's too many of them. I mean, many of them, as you probably know, are just weddings at the waterfront. So, yes, I think all those who chime in, and it goes for a lot of people, it goes before Rob, Harry, Chief, the mayor, and I'm not sure. Who else.
And then they get sorted, so all department heads, fire department, once it's approved.
You go with Eric.
It goes to everybody.
Well, I think Margaret's concern would be,
No, so they know that kind of altered their routes and they can do. So a lot of people are involved in the process.
I certain number. That's,
I brought it as first.
I was just saying that I think Margaret's concern would be met if they apply in time. It doesn't necessarily have to be a council every time, but if it's applied in time for that grant, that does come before the council.
Sure.
Automatically, so.
Yeah.
That's why I was suggesting that.
Yeah.
But also the ones that they affect Warren Street where all the businesses are, or most of them, I think that's what we need to know, the ones that take place on Warren.
Justin, do you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, first of all, apologies. I'm bouncing between this meeting and the planning board, so I wasn't available when you guys were looking for me. But I just want to make sure that the one that was tabled, I'm told, is not the one that's due at the end of this month, which would be the smart growth comprehensive planning for the zoning code update. Was that one approved?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the ones for the feasibility study for ADA compliance and the sidewalk ADA compliance public facilities, both of those have been tabled, is that correct?
Correct, and we'll deal with them next month, since they're not due.
Okay, yeah, we have time for that. That's not due to the end of October. And then the other thing is I submitted something for the laptop for HPC. I understand that was not approved, is that correct?
Correct, because I want to find out if it's exclusively being used by HPC and not also by HPC.
We didn't vote against it, it was just tabled.
Oh, that was tabled. Okay. I can get you more information if you need. I know that Jan Egan is having issues with her laptop. I provided multiple quotes. We chose the least expensive, and it would be only used for the HPC meetings, so that they can actually have their updates happen with Teams She's been having issues with having Teams work properly on her laptop because she has an outdated laptop. So if it's going to be tabled, that's fine. I just want to give a little background.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get from her. I wrote to her, and that was fine. But whether she uses it for HDC
Okay.
as well, which means they should probably.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, no worries. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we can go into executive. Can I have a motion to go on executive session to discuss a real estate financial thing?
Did you wanna ask for public
Oh, I'm
comments
sorry.
before that way they don't have to come back? Yeah.
I don't think so.
But that way at least six.
Do you want to do second? Going to the executive session?
What's second for?
Aye. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Good night.
You can stick around if you want. It's not going to be much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Krista, take it away. Wait.
Let's stop recording. Are we recording?
Wait,
He's gotta kick some people out, I think.
Okay.
Okay.